All right. So moving to the next, whenever you're working with the data, it's very, very, very important. Most of the time we see like I've seen an experience on the project. Most of the time is taken to reconcile your data, to prove it. Your data is not losing anything when it's transformed, and the final step is ready for the reporting. So it is very important. The sooner you'll start doing the data profiling, you'll be in a right position. You understand your source data better, and you can make your decision. And the most of the time, decision is not just a technical decision like you can make. Many times decision need to become from the business, because data quality is not good. So you need to consult with your business. What's their take on if the data is not good, and or particular scenario like the very basic example is like if the data is blank, what you need to consider, right? You cannot make a decision. What need to be considered if the data is blank? For example, if you're making something and the state is blank, so if the state is blank, what need to be done on that case? So your business user will make a call on that. So that's why if you are doing all these things at the end of the process, when you are generating a report, and that's the very common mistake that happens in every data project. We start writing the ETL process, we are happy with that, you have written all the process, and we are producing a report. When report is ready and is given to the business, surprise surprise, nothing is matching. It's completely disaster. And common a very common blame goes to the reports, or the any solution that is providing the report, or any person is providing the report. The data is not correct, but it's not the person, or it's not the report that is incorrect. Is the overall process data quality and a lot more things that are not correct, and due to that reason your report is off, or it is not matching with your expectation. So how you can reduce it, and how can be you will be in a good position. So the very first thing I'll recommend, as soon as you got the access of the data, you start doing the data profiling. That is very important, and that's must have. There is no any other way. So you need to understand your data, what exactly the data is, how quality proof your data that you have it, right? And it is needed for many reasons, right? When you are processing the data, you need to make decision like how you'll find your delta, how you'll uh, find the movement of the data, right? So the few key things. There are so many different tools that you can use it. All exercise also and all the ETL tools provide the data profiling capability. So they can run through on your source data, and they can give you the different quality check that you wanted to check. For example, uniqueness of the value, or the consistency of the data, or how many blanks are there, and what kind of those information are there. So that's very, very important, whether you're doing by using the tool, or you're just running a manual query, or you are scanning through AI. Doesn't matter how you're doing that, or you are using all the way to find the gap in the data. So you need to be in an investigation role, and you see like, oh, where is the gap, what kind of gap are there. So you always need to profile your data and understand where is the gap and what kind of the gap they are. So sooner you have those information, you will be in a better position. You can consult with your business owner or user to understand what would be your remediation process. So uniqueness is important. The key value, whatever you're taking as a decision, as a primary key, like the order number is always supposed to be unique. But when I'm profiling, I find the duplicate order number. So that's the problem, right? So you need to consult with that, why it is happening. Do we need to delete or duplicate from the source system, or it is suppose just order number is not unique? You need to consider the order number plus additional value to find the unique order, right? So that's very important. Consistency is also important, like the when you look for the distinct and master value, because all the reporting will very much driven from the your master value data, right? So we'll discuss the what is the master and transaction later on. So when for a very simple example, when you're selecting the gender, some system can give you the M or F, whereas the some system can give you the male and female, right? It's basically the same thing, but it's not consistent. So you don't want to report like, in my office there are 4M, 5F, and there are 20 male and 25 female, right? You want to combine them as a male and as a female kind of things, right? So you it's very important to have the unique distinct value. And same for the null. If they are blank and they're null, that's not supposed to be, or if there is, how you want it to handle. So I mean, uh, long and short, data profiling is very important, and you need to keep eye as soon as you get the access on the source. You understand your data, and especially look for the key values that is important for business. Any amount, any transaction number, any country, city, state information, or any product information that need to be accurate, and there should not be any gap. You find those gaps, share with business, and start discussing early so that you will be in a good position. The second important part that also cause a lot more delay in a project is the reconciliation, right? We take it lightly, but it is a big problem and delay. And as I said, the more at the end of the project or reporting, if you'll start doing this, it will take lot more time, and it will be more frustrating, right? So reconciliation is also very important. So what does it mean, the reconciliation, what we want to reconcile, right? So data moves from different stages and different source, and the different machines and different logic and calculation applied on top of that. As we talked about, the very basic is the adding first name and last name, right? When you are adding the first name and last name and you are getting there as a full name, there could be many combination, and many places it can go wrong. If the first name is complete but last name is null, you'll get the null value, right? Or you can get something weird that business don't want to see it, right? So it's very important. And the high level, like the your record can be lost, right? If you're processing, you have a 10 record in a source, but in a target you are supposed to get 5 record, but it might be you're getting 4 record, right? So a few things that you can work on that, and you can keep eye on that. Specifically, you can look for all the amount calculation that you are doing, they are correct, and the fractional value is also very important, like the what decimal point you are rounding up, so you can get some rounding problem also. And specifically, if you're applying some business logic, you run through that, all the unit testing or whatever you can call it, and make sure they are consistent. And as part of the, not as a just a ETL tester or as a ETL developer also, you should always make sure a few things are correct once you are done, right? The total number of count records that you are supposed to be in a source and a target are correct. The total amount of the after the process is correct, and randomly you need to do the some check of the entire record that you are moving from source to target are consistent and correct. And other important part is that reconciliation itself is a big piece of the work, right? So whenever you are working on data project or doing estimation, always consider additional effort and dedicated time for the reconciliation process and addressing those problems, right? And one more thing I'll say, like the reconciliation is depend on the how valuable your process and the data is, right? How much um, gap you can, I mean, any gap is gap, right? But how important and critical it is, right? Whether it's just some compliance report. If it's a compliance report, you need to be 100% accurate. So you need to be more focused on the reconciliation. Just hash check and total amount will be not good enough. You need to reconcile every data at every granular level. For example, if you are sending your sales report by state, by city and zip code, so just total might be you're getting 500,000, but when you are splitting by zip code or by city, might be you are off. So on that case, it's very important you reconcile your data at the city level. So whatever the regulatory requirement and the granular information, you need to be correct. You need to have a process to reconcile that data at that level by every column that you wanted to look for, because generally sum and total are give you a very broad level, but they can go off at the granular level. Minus 10 or plus 10 becomes 0, so might be it will be total, but you the positioning of the value can shift from one record to other record. So it's very important, and you need to have a right balance always, right? You don't do the over reconciliation and don't do the minimum reconciliation. It's depend on that how crucial the final data is. Based on that, you can plan about your reconciliation process. But in any Any data project, you must have the reconciliation, whether you're doing the one time manual or whether you're doing the automated system reconciliation process. Always recommended at least the high level system reconciliation is there, so at least you can get some alert and you can start working from there. So it's need additional work and maintenance, so but it's worth it. And again, how deep you need to do the reconciliation is depend on the how crucial your final data or report is. Based on that you can make a call, but always plan additional time and effort for the reconciliation process. It is very, very important.